Good morning. So online people, please confirm my voice is audible or not.
Yes, it's audible, sir.
Okay, and hope my screen also visible to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as part of yesterday's session, we started discussing about Dataproc, and within the Dataproc, we created the cluster, and after that, we connected to virtual machine by using partition. After that, we explored SparkSQL and SparkSQL related prompts. After that, we have done a use case end-to-end by using PySpark. So with the help of the PySpark, we have done a use case end-to-end. Okay. So these are the topics we covered as part of the yesterday's session. Today we'll continue with the other things on top of the Dataproc only. So yesterday we have done all the things by using the PySpark. So today what we'll do here is we'll perform the similar kind of activities with the help of the SparkSQL. We'll try to perform same activities, similar kind of activities with the help of the SparkSQL. So with that, you can able to get some kind of knowledge about PySpark. At the same time, you can able to get some kind of knowledge about the SparkSQL. So we'll continue about SparkSQL. But before that, whatever the activities we performed yesterday, quickly we perform the same activities in the today's session. Just it will take maximum 5 minutes of time only. What is the first step? You need to start your cluster. If you stop your cluster, please start the cluster. With that, you are ready with your cluster. After that, please open partition and connect to virtual machine. So please do these two activities quickly.
In SAP that we used yesterday, is that used as a landing zone?
Is that
used as a landing zone?
Landing. No, it's a kind of. It's not a landing zone, but that we are using to copy the files from the local system to your Unix machine. But here, I think earlier you asked the question, right? Show how we can able to access the landing zone. If you observe yesterday what we did, we created the cluster. In the cluster, we access the VM. VM is nothing but our Unix machine. In the previous classes, we discussed that where we are going to see our landing zone files only in the Unix machine. Whatever the VM we are using, that is nothing but kind of our Unix machine. So here we are copying the files ourselves, but in the real time, what will happen? Your source team will send the files to your cluster. From that cluster, we are going to access the files. Okay. But within the class, we don't have any separate source team only. You yourself is acting as a source team. That's the reason what you are doing. You are moving the files from the Windows system to the VM machine with the help of what? With the help of the WinSCP. But in the real time, your source team will send all the files to your Unix machine, which is nothing but your virtual machine. On top of that virtual machine, we are going to perform our required activities. It's clear. And I think yesterday, I think in the previous classes, you only asked me how we can able to access the GS utility commands from the virtual machine. Today we'll discuss about that also. With that, you can able to get the clarification. Okay. So observe here, Andy. So in previous classes, few folks asked the questions. I said that we'll discuss those topics in the coming classes. Earlier, someone asked about how to deal with the JSON files and how to deal with the Parquet files. I told them we'll discuss about those topics separately in the later classes. Yesterday, if you observe what files we did, we dealt with the JSON file. In the today's session, we are going to deal with the Parquet file. Indirectly, what I'm trying to say here is whatever the questions you asked earlier, whatever the questions I skipped earlier, for those questions, slowly you can able to get the answers one by one. And still, if you're having any other kind of questions, please raise it. If it is related to the today's topic, we'll discuss those questions today. Otherwise, in the coming classes, we are going to clarify all the questions, whatever you are going to have. Okay. So please start the cluster. Please open the partition and connect to your virtual machine. With that, we'll proceed with our today's activity.
Sir, I have one question, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, Dataproc, basically we had some files in HDFS.
Mhm.
Yesterday session, with respect to yesterday session, I'm asking, sir.
Mhm.
So we are processing, or we are transforming the file to HDFS, which means if my application is in HDFS, then I can use Dataproc service to connect to HDFS. Is that the advantage, sir?
Yes, correct. That's one advantage. At the same time, if you want to perform any kind of Hadoop related activities, or if you want to perform any PySpark related activities, then also we can go for the Dataproc.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. See, just observe here, Andy. Yesterday we discussed about all these commands. So
one more, sir. Sorry, sir.
yeah, please. First, I will start the class, Andy. So we'll take the questions later after some time. Just now we started the class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So see here actually, so yesterday we copied all these files into our HDFS location, and from the HDFS location we created the data frames. On top of the data frames, we created the temporary views. On top of that, we have written the query, and on top of that, we are performing the other activities. And quickly today, I will show you what activities we performed yesterday. Okay, so my suggestion here, Andy, please try to open the two partitions, because in one partition we can connect to the PySpark. In other partition we can able to work on the Unix prompt. If you want to open the one more partition, what we can do, same steps, Andy, just open the partition from your start button and give us your host address and give your authentication file. So please open two partitions, because from one partition we can able to connect to our PySpark or SparkSQL. In other partition we can able to perform our required activities from the Unix prompt.
We need to have two keys.
No, by using the same key you can able to connect. Same key we are using for two partitions, and both the partitions are connected to the same virtual machine with the same key only. But in one partition we are going to perform the Spark related activities. In the other partition we are going to perform the Unix related activities like copying the files, seeing the files, such kind of things. Just I'm repeating, just for our convenience, try to open the two partitions. In one partition, we can able to perform our Unix prompt related activities. In other partition, we can able to perform the PySpark related activities. And for example, if you are going to open the only one partition, you are doing some activities on the PySpark prompt. After that, you want to do some activities again on the Unix. What we have to do? We need to exit from the PySpark. Again, we need to copy the files in the Unix. Again, we need to connect to the PySpark. Instead of doing such kind of activities, what I'm suggesting here is better to go for the two partitions. In one partition, we are going to work from the Unix prompt. In other partition, you can able to work from the PySpark prompt. With that, we can able to do our work very easy way. That's the reason only just I'm saying that please try to open the two party prompts. Okay, now what I'm doing here is I'm connecting to PySpark in my session. You have to? Yeah, you have to give the private key. You have to give it. Yeah. Okay, just observe here only for just 2 minutes. Here I connected to the PySpark session. Now what I want to do here is whatever the activities yesterday we performed, we need to perform the same activity. Just I'm copying all these things and I created all the data frames. Whatever the data frames yesterday we discussed, for each and every file, we are having total 5 files only. For all the 5 files, we are going to create the 5 different data frames. After that, I am creating the temp views on all these 5 data frames. After that, I am running this query by using one more data frame. See here, yesterday to discuss about same topics, it taken around 1 hour time only. Now today what happened? Within 2 minutes, I ran all these things because already you are having some knowledge about all these topics, whatever we discussed yesterday, and you did the practice for all these things. And just what we are doing for today's session, just I copied all this information. With that, simply I ran everything. Within 2-3 minutes only, I completed all these activities. Yesterday, we missed one topic, which is nothing but we ran the query. With the help of the query, you are getting the summary result. If you want to see the data, what we can do? df.show. If you are given the df.show, what will happen? You can able to see the result. But our requirement is you want to see the result or you want to store this result into other file. I want to store this whole result into the other file, and for that reason, what we are going to perform here is we are going to perform the one more activity, which is nothing but we are going to write the data. Earlier, what we did? We read the data from the file, but now my requirement is whatever the result we are getting with the help of the data frame, I want to write this data into the HDFS location. For that reason, here we are going to give the command like this, and we are given the data frame name. What is the data frame name here? df.write. Why we are given the write? My requirement is I want to write the data. For that reason, we have to give the write. After that, I want to write the data in the JSON format. So we are giving it as a JSON dot. Here, if you want to read the data, we are giving it as a load operation. But if you want to write the data, we have to give it as a save operation. I am giving it as a save. After that, we are giving the path only. So I'm giving the path as a like this. You have to give your HDFS folder. So here, what is the path we are using? For reading, we are using the HDFS path. For writing also, I want to use the same HDFS path only. Yesterday, we created one folder in the HDFS path, which is nothing but Dataproc 19 in my system. In your system, whatever the folder name you given, please give that name. After that, just I'm adding the one more folder called as a summary, and indirectly in this path, I want to write whole result in the JSON file. To write the result, I'm giving it as a df.write.format of JSON.save. Indirectly, in this folder, it is going to create the file. What type of file it is going to create? JSON or CSV or Parquet? It is going to create the JSON, because here we are given the command called as a format of JSON. For that reason, it is going to create the JSON file on top of your summary folder. Now, this is the LFS folder or HDFS folder. This is our HDFS folder. Yesterday, we read the data from the HDFS, and today I want to write the data. I want to write the data also into the HDFS location only. For that reason, I am giving this path only. Now, just I'm going to run. Now, tell me again, from where we have to run this? From the Unix prompt or from the PySpark prompt? From the PySpark prompt, okay? Yes, I'm running this. See, my write operation is completed. Now, you want to verify whether file created in the respective path or not. How we can able to verify that information? What is the command?
HDFS
df.show.
ls-ltr, or we need to give it as a HDFS space DFS space -ls. Because this is the HDFS folder. So for that reason, we need to give the HDFS command only. So this is the way we can able to pass our command. Just I'm going to my Unix prompt. That's the reason I opened the Unix prompt. Now, for example, if you want to give the HDFS command, again, what we have to do here, you need to come out from the PySpark prompt. Again, you have to give the HDFS command from the Unix prompt only. Instead of that, what I did here, I am having the one more shell, one more putty shell. Here I connected to the Unix prompt. Here I'm giving the simply command HDFS, DFS. I am given the path. My mistake, HDFS DFS -ls.
Summary spelling.
Now see here, in this path, your file has been created. What is the file it created? It created the file called as a JSON file. Only this is the step. Yesterday, I forgot to inform you only. We given the DF, we written the query, and with that, we are seeing the result on your PySpark screen by giving the df.show. But my requirement is I want to store this result. If you want to store this result from the data frame, what we can do here? Just we are given the command called as a df.write.format of JSON.save. With that, we can able to perform all our required activities. Okay, this is the way simply we can able to understand end to end on top of your HDFS prompt only. Now, what we'll do today here is, yesterday we performed all these activities on the HDFS. Now, what I want to do here is in the today's session, I want to perform same activities by using the GFS files. Or I can able to say GS files. What is the meaning of GS here? It's nothing but our Google Cloud storage files. And yesterday we created the HDFS location. On top of the HDFS location, we performed all the activities. Now my requirement is I want to perform the same activities from the GCS files also. At the beginning of the session, someone is asking the question, can we use the Dataproc only on HDFS? What's the answer? I can able to say answer is no. If you want, what we can do, you can able to access the HDFS files, or if you want, we can able to access the GCS files also by depending on our requirement. And with the help of the Dataproc, you can able to access the HDFS files, or we can able to access the GCS files also. HDFS files already we discussed in the yesterday session. Now today we'll try to understand how we can able to perform the same activities with the help of the GCS files. And now you tell me, if you want to perform the same activities with the help of the GCS files, what's the prerequisites?
So GCS files is nothing but the bucket files, right?
Yeah, bucket only, Andy. So GCS is nothing but Google Cloud Storage. In the Google Cloud Storage, what we are going to maintain? We are going to maintain the buckets. We are going to maintain the files in the bucket. That's the only we are calling it as a GCS files.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Tell me here, what's the prerequisites?
The file should be there in the bucket.
Before file,
We need we need to go
first
to
we need to create the
bucket.
After that, we need to
Place that.
maintain all the JSON files in our bucket. Once all these are ready, then what we can do here with the help of the PySpark, we can able to perform the remaining activities. And now you tell me how we can able to create the bucket. What's the command?
GSUtil.
GSUtil.
MB. Bucket name.
I'm giving, for example, Dataproc 19 is the correct statement.
No, GS.
Compulsory, we have to give it as a GS://. Otherwise, it won't create the bucket. And GS:// Dataproc 19. So if you want, you can give the same name. Otherwise, if you want, you can give the different name also by depending on your convenience. And but here I'm giving the name as a Dataproc 19. This is the command we are going to run. Now tell me, this is the command from where we ran earlier. From the Cloud SDK shell we ran earlier. And now what we'll do here is we'll run same command from our VM. Just I want to show you how we can able to run the GSUtil commands from the Unix prompt, or how we can able to run the GSUtil commands from the VM. We are not doing any new activities. And in the Cloud SDK, whatever we ran, same command just we are running from the VM or from our putty shell. With that, you can able to create the bucket. Okay.
So this VM was created in a particular project, right? So in that project only, it's going to create the
Yes,
bucket.
correct. Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly, because everything is interlinked, right? So that's the reason it will create the same thing in the same thing in that project only. Just 1 second, I'm deleting the bucket in my system. Okay, now you tell me, this is the command I want to trigger. From where we need to trigger this command? From the PySpark prompt or from the Unix prompt?
Unix prompt.
From the Unix prompt. Okay, please open your Unix prompt shell. People who came late, please open the two putty shells as we discussed yesterday. One putty shell we are using for the PySpark, one putty shell we are using for the Unix prompt. And now here from the Unix prompt, I'm giving this command GSUtil space MB space. I'm giving the bucket name. Just click on enter. Okay, now your bucket has been created. Now what is the requirement? In this bucket, we need to copy the JSON files. And if you remember, yesterday in the Unix system or in the putty shell or in the VM, we copied already JSON files. And in my system, I copied all my files into use case 3 folder. If you see, in use case 3 folder, I'm having all the JSON files. In your system, please verify what is the folder you created, in which folder you are having the JSON file. And please go to that folder. How to go to the respective folder? Just give the command called as a cd space your folder name. With that, you can able to go to the folder where you are having all the JSON files. And yesterday you copied the JSON files from the Windows system to the virtual machine. In the virtual machine, you created one folder. In that folder, you copied all the JSON files. Please go to that please go to that folder. How we can able to go to the folder? By giving the command called as a cd command, cd space your folder name. In my system, I'm having the folder name as a use case 3. I went to the use case 3 folder. After that, just give the ls-ltr to verify whether files are present or not. Now my requirement is I want to copy these files into my bucket. What is the command we can able to give to copy the files? What's the command we need to give to copy the files?
GSUtil
GSUtil
copy
space, copy space.
recursively.
We need to give the star dot star. Then I'm giving my target file, target bucket. Sorry. Just observe here what I'm doing. I'm giving it as a GSUtil space, copy space, star dot star. What's the meaning of star dot star? I want to copy all the files from this folder. For that reason, just I'm given the star dot star and after that we are given the bucket. If you observe here, other than bucket name, what I'm giving?
Folder.
I am given the one more folder. This folder is not created in the bucket, but if I am going to run this command, what will happen? It will create the folder automatically. In that folder, it will copy all the files and just for differentiation, I am creating a folder in the bucket called as a source bucket. In that bucket, I am copying all the files from my local folder. Just I am going to run this command. Here my files are copied. Now, for example, if you are not in the use case 3 folder, but you want to run this command, what we can do, Andy? What we can do here is, instead of giving the star dot star directly, here you have to give the complete path. In my system, my complete path is home/sample/use case 3/star dot star. So this is the way also you can able to run the query, Andy, but already I am in the use case 3 folder. For that reason, instead of giving the complete path, just I given it as a star dot star. If you want, what we can do here, you can give it as a complete path, home/sample/use case 3. But you tell me in your system how you can able to find out the complete path.
PWD.
Just give the command called as a PWD command. If you are given the PWD command, in which path I am working currently, home sample use case 3, and for that reason, if you want, you can give the complete command, complete path. Otherwise, just to go to the path folder, there you can give the command called as a star dot star, and you can give the target bucket name. With that, you can able to copy the files.
Sir, are we running these commands in Dataproc cluster VM or general VM?
Now we are running. So you will tell me from which VM you are running this.
We
are running from the Dataproc cluster VM only, because that is the VM only currently you are having in the hand, right? So whatever the commands we are running for now, we are running all these commands from the Dataproc cluster only.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Now just to verify whether files are copied or not, for the checking purpose, Andy, just to go to your folder, go to your bucket, and just refresh it once. I have the Dataproc 19 folder. Whatever the steps we are doing, for every step, please verify it is reflecting into your GCS or not. My bucket is ready. So within the bucket, my source folder also ready. Within the source folder, I am having all the files. So we are not discussing any new topic here, Andy. So far in the last 5 minutes, just we are discussing the same GSUtil commands, whatever we discussed in the previous classes. Just we are making base ready. So with that, we can able to run our commands. Okay, now my requirement is I want to read data from all these files, and I want to apply the transformations, and I want to load the data into my summary file or in the summary folder. You tell me what operations we need to perform. By using PySpark, I want to perform these operations. My requirement is I want to read data from files, and I want to apply SQL query. By using that, I want to apply the transformations, which is nothing but I want to apply the unions, and I want to apply the joins as per my requirement, and I want to apply the aggregations. Whatever the result we are getting, I want to load the data into the target folder. These are the activities I want to perform. Now you try to give the answer. To perform these activities in the PySpark, what all are the things we need to perform? Are we going to do any different activity now onwards? See, yesterday what we did with the help of the data frames, we read data from files. After that, we created the temp views. Why we created the temp views, Andy? To write SQL statement. After that, with the help of SparkSQL, we return the query, and with that we are going to get the output. This output we are going to write into our target folder. Indirectly, yesterday, whatever the activities we performed, same activities today we are going to repeat. But yesterday, on top of what files we performed all the activities, Andy? On top of the HDFS files, we performed all the activities. But today, on top of what we are performing all these activities? On top of our GCS files, Andy. For that reason, just what I'm doing here is, I am going to copy all these things. Now you tell me here, what's the modification I need to perform? Just I am using the same code, whatever we discussed in the yesterday's session. Now, just what's the modification we need to perform on top of this entire code? We need to change the path, except that no need to do any other changes, Andy. Now, what is the path? In this bucket, in this folder, I'm having the file. Instead of Dataproc 19, I'm giving this path. And coming to target also, here I want to load the data into my target bucket. So I will give it as a simply target. So if you observe here, we are not doing any new activities, Andy. Whatever the code yesterday we discussed, creation of the data frame, creation of the temp views, writing the query, running the query, and writing the data. All the operations we are repeating one more time. But yesterday we did all these activities on top of your HDFS files, Andy. Now today what we are doing here, instead of using the HDFS path, we are going to use the GCS path. With that, we are performing all these activities, except that we are not doing any kind of new activities, Andy. Now you want me to share this code? I am in the assumption already you are having all this code in the proper format. Every day, whatever the code I'm sending in the notes or whatever the code I'm sending in the Telegram group, Andy, please gather all the notes or all the comments at one place, Andy. With that, what will happen? You can able to perform your activities in a very fast way. If you want, what I can do here is, I will share all these comments. But try to maintain all these comments yourself. With that, you can able to perform the practicals very easily. Again, I'm repeating, I haven't shared any new comments, and yesterday, whatever the comments we discussed, we shared the same command. Only thing is nothing but instead of HDFS path here, what we are giving? We are giving the GCS path, except that all the remaining activities are same only. We need to create the data frames, we need to create the views, and we need to write the query. And with the query, we are getting the result. That result I want to write into again my HDFS path or GCS path. I want to write into my GCS path. For that reason, everywhere I'm giving the GCS path only. Now, how we can able to run all these things? Just copy all these things at a time if you want. From where we have to run? From the PySpark prompt or from the Unix prompt? From the PySpark prompt, and go to the PySpark prompt. Just run it. See, all are completed. All the data frames are created by reading the data from the GCS bucket from the JSON files. After that, on top of these data frames, I want to create the views to write the queries. Yes, I'm running all these things. I created all the temp views. After that, we need to run this query on top of the views, and already query is ready. Just I'm taking this. I'm giving df.show. If I are given the df.show, what's happening here? We are going to see the data, but you want to see the data or you want to write the data? I want to write the data into my GCS bucket. For that reason, I am going to trigger this command also. Okay. Now, writing also completed. If you want to verify whether data has been loaded or not, how we can able to verify? How to verify in the GCS target folder whether data has been loaded or not? How we can able to verify? Just to go to your HDFS Unix prompt. Here I'm given the command like this, Andy. gsutil space ls space. I am giving my target folder path. So what is the target folder? Bucket name / target. This is the folder path in our GCS bucket. Just click on enter. Now see, you can able to see the file. What is the file it created? It created the file called as a JSON file. Otherwise, if you want, what you can do, you can go to the console, and in the console earlier we are in the source folder. Now you can able to see the target folder automatically. Target folder is there. In the target folder, we created the file called as a JSON file. In this JSON file, we are going to see the summary data. Now this file created just now 9/2. Time is 9/3, but just now this file has been created. This is the way whatever the activities we discussed yesterday, same activities we can able to perform on top of your GCS files also. Now might be some people can able to get the question, sir, why we are doing all these activities very fast? What's the reason? No reason, Andy. Already I told you yesterday, These are the topics we are going to repeat multiple times in the today's session. Might be in the tomorrow session also we are going to perform the same activities. But yesterday we did all the activities on top of the HDFS files. Today we are doing same activities on top of the GCS files. And if you did the practice for yesterday's session, it is very easy to understand what we are doing as part of our today's session. And one more thing, why we are discussing same topics again on top of the GCS files? Because in some projects, you will work on HDFS files. In some projects, you will work on GCS files also. Just to know in what kind of files we are going to work in the real time, or in what kind of data storage locations we are working in the real time. For that reason, just I'm given the both the scenarios. And yesterday we discussed about HDFS files, and today we discussed about the GCS files. With that, if anyone is going to ask the question by using Dataproc, from where we can able to access the files, what we can able to say? Simply we can able to say you can able to access the files from the HDFS, or you can able to access the file from the GCS also, by depending on our requirement. To understand that, just I'm giving all these examples one more time by using our GCS files. Okay. Any questions up to here, please ask me. Just I'm repeating where we are doing all these activities. All these activities we are performing by using our PySpark prompt. If anyone facing any issues, please let me know. Otherwise, we'll proceed for the next steps. Sorry?
My file is not complete.
Your file is not copied means you are doing the wrong operation. Sorry?
Okay. My file is not copied, so it's on error.
What's the error?
Access denied. Access denied.
Bucket name must be incorrect, I believe. Bucket name he has to change in the cover. Whatever the bucket he has used.
Yeah, he's shaking that. So please give the correct bucket name, Sandy. With that, it will work.
So by default, the prompt will take PySpark.
Yeah, if you're given the PySpark command, it will go to the PySpark command. So how it is going to the PySpark prompt? So if I given the PySpark command, once we are given the PySpark command, then it will go to the PySpark prompt. It won't go by default. If you are given the PySpark command, then from the Unix prompt, it is moving to the PySpark prompt. Okay. Now, if you want to exit, what we can do, just we have to give the exit command. And so with the help of the exit command, we can able to exit from the PySpark prompt. I'm giving it as a exit, open bracket and close bracket. Just click on enter. So with that, what we can do here, we can be able to move from the PySpark prompt to the Unix prompt. Okay. Now we'll try to understand how we can able to perform the same operations with the help of the Spark-SQL. And so far we are doing all the operations with the help of the PySpark. Please try to understand the statement. So far, whatever the activities we performed, all these activities we performed with the help of the PySpark. Now my requirement is I want to perform the same activities with the help of the SparkSQL. So if you want to do the same activities with the help of the SparkSQL, what we can do? Just to go to the Unix prompt, here give the command Spark-SQL. Now it is going to the Spark prompt, Python prompt, or it is going to the SparkSQL prompt. If I'm given the Spark-SQL, then it will go to your Spark-SQL prompt. And just will see that. Okay, now we are in the Spark-SQL prompt. Now with the help of the SQL, what we can do here, we can able to do all the operations like we are doing in our database system. In our database system, whatever the activities we are doing, or I can able to say in the MySQL, whatever the activities you performed on the similar kind of activities we can able to perform with the help of our SparkSQL. Earlier, just I'm repeating one more time. Before 5 minutes, we discussed about the PySpark prompt in the Dataproc. Now we are discussing about the Spark-SQL. And now with the help of the Spark-SQL, I want to perform the same activities one more time. But here, what we need to do here is, so far we are working on JSON files. But if you remember, yesterday's our use case end-to-end, we need to convert JSON files to Parquet files. On top of these Parquet files, I want to apply the transformations. Then I want to load data into my target system. That is the requirement, end-to-end requirement only. So far we worked on only JSON file. But if you remember the yesterday's use case end-to-end, in the yesterday's use case, what is the requirement? I want to convert JSON files to the Parquet files. After that, I want to apply the transformations. Then I want to load the data into my target. Now, first we'll try to understand how to read data from JSON file by using Spark-SQL. Okay. Please focus for next 5 to 10 minutes, Sandy. I will explain in detail about one JSON file. If you understand about one JSON file, what we can do? Same activity we can able to perform for all the remaining JSON files. And for that reason, please be focused on next 5 to 10 minutes. With that, you can able to understand how we are doing this activity for one JSON file. Total, how many JSON files we are having? 5 JSON files. If you understand this for the one JSON file, what will happen? For all remaining JSON files, we are going to perform the same activity. For that reason, please focus. So what I'm doing here is, first step, I am going to create the database because I'm working in the SparkSQL prompt. And if you are working in the SparkSQL prompt, what I'm doing here, I am creating a database. What is the command to create the database? In the database side, create database, database name. Just here, we are adding the one keyword called as a if not exist. What it means indirectly? If this database is not present, then only create the database. If it is available already, don't create any new database. And for that reason, just I'm giving the command called as a if not exist. Now, whatever the database we are creating, it is linking with our GCS path, and which is nothing but whatever the database we are creating, this database internally will connect to what? It is going to connect with our GCS bucket. What is our GCS bucket name? Dataproc 19. In that GCS bucket, I want to link to the folder called as a raw.db. Here you can able to give any name only, but for my understanding, for the raw database, I'm given the folder name also nothing but raw.db. Now, indirectly, what is going to happen? It is going to create the database, but that database is having the link with what? That is having the link with our GCS bucket. To specify that information, we are giving the keyword called as a location keyword. In the database, we are not doing all these operations, and except in the database, just we are giving the create database name. But in the SparkSQL, what I'm doing here, I am specifying in which location you want to create the database. For that reason, we are given the keyword called as a location keyword, and we are given the path, in which path you want to create your database. This is the way we are given the command create database name, location, we are given the path. This is the step 1. After creation of the database in the MySQL, what is the next step? We need to connect to database. How to connect to database, Andy? We have to give the use command. Yes. I am given the same command here also, use raw_db, which is nothing but you created the database and you connected to the database, Andy. After that, in the database, what we are doing directly, we are going to create the tables, Andy. But if you observe here, what I am doing here is, here also I am going to create the temporary view. I will explain what is the reason. Create or replace temporary view. Here I am using the keyword called as a using JSON. What is the reason? You want to read data from the JSON file, or you want to read data from the CSV file? In our example, I want to read data from the JSON file. For that reason, we are given the using JSON. And for example, if you want to read the data from the CSV file, give it as CSV. If you want to read data from the Parquet file, give it as a Parquet. But in our example, I want to read data from the JSON file. For that reason, I am giving create view name. After that, we are giving it as a using JSON, which is nothing but this view is going to read the data from the JSON file, but we need to specify the path of the JSON file. That's the reason we are given the one more keyword called as a options keyword. In the options keyword, we are given the path. Here, which path I'm giving? I'm giving the GCS path. Now you tell me, can we be able to perform the same operation on top of our HDFS files or not? We can able to perform the same operation if you want on top of your HDFS files also. And indirectly in the SparkSQL also, whatever the activities we are doing on top of your GCS files, same activities we can able to perform on top of your HDFS files also. But in the today's session, I am focusing only on the GCS files. And now here we are given the GCS file path. Now you try to give the answer. If I am going to run this query, what is going to happen? What will happen?
We'll create
it is creating a view.
That
in this view, it is reading the data from where?
JSON
It
file.
is reading the data from the JSON file. But if you observe, what is our requirement? I want to convert that JSON data into the Parquet format, and for that reason, I am creating the one more table here. If you observe, instead of view, what I'm doing here, I'm creating it as a table. Create table, table name. Here I'm giving using Parquet. If I'm giving the Parquet, what will happen? This table is creating with the JSON data. This table is going to create with the Parquet data. Because of given the using Parquet, this table is going to create with the Parquet data. But for this table, if you observe here, I am given the select star from the V and D, which is nothing but select star from the view. Now you tell me, in this view, what is the data we are having? In the view, we are having the JSON data, customer data only, but we are having the JSON data. But when we are given the using Parquet, it is going to create the table. Now in this table, it is going to copy the JSON data, or it is going to convert JSON data to Parquet data, and that data will be copied to this table. What is going to happen? It is going to read data from the view in the JSON format. That data is converting into the Parquet format. That data is going to load on top of your table. All these operations will happen automatically, and which is nothing but whenever you want to read data from the JSON file, give it as a JSON. If you want to read the data from the Parquet file, give it as a Parquet. Now in this example, I am given the using Parquet, which is nothing but it is going to convert all the data from this view in the JSON format to the Parquet format. With that, it is going to load the data into your table. For that reason, here we are given the query called as a create table, table name. Now you try to give the one more answer. What is the difference between create temp view and create table? If I'm given the temp view, what will happen? This view creating temporarily or permanently? This view creating temporarily, which is nothing but this view is available only within the session. What is the meaning of within the session? For example, I am going to run this query from the SparkSQL prompt. After a few minutes, I give an exit. Again, I connected to Spark-SQL. Just observe and read. First, I connected to the SparkSQL. By connecting to SparkSQL, I created the view temp view. After that, I given the exit command. After that, again, I connected to the SparkSQL. Now tell me, can we able to see this view if you connected now? No, because you disconnected from the session. Again, you connected. Once we are going to disconnect from the session, automatically what will happen? You are going to lose the temp view. But what about the table? This is temporary or permanently? This is storing permanently. So because it's a table, for that reason, what is going to happen? It is storing permanently. But coming to here, if you are given the temp view, what will happen? That is going to be available only within the session. This is the way you are going to create the database. You are going to create the view, and you are going to create the table. Now, why we are creating the view separately? Because by using the view, I am reading the data from the JSON file. On top of that, we are converting the data into Parquet. Then we are loading the data into the table. For that reason, here we are creating the view. On top of that, we are going to create the table. Okay. Any questions again up to here? Please ask me.
Sir, all these process like HDFS, like this one Hive, right? All this one.
Here we are not discussing anything about the Hive.
No. Like same, right?
Yeah, same operation. Yeah, in
So
the Hive, whatever the operations we are doing, same operations we are doing with the help of the Spark also.
Yeah. Okay. Why can't we do copy instead of doing all this create? Just we need the the Parquet file only, right? From taking the JSON file, why can't it create this one?
If you want, that also we can do, but that we can able to perform by using the Spark only. So, but here we are discussing about the PySpark, or we are discussing about the SparkSQL.
Okay, sir.
If you want, by using the PySpark code directly, we can able to convert your. Just I will type here.
Okay.
By using PySpark code, if you want, you can able to convert JSON to Parquet, and you can apply all your transformations. But if I'm going to use the same again PySpark, what will happen indirectly? Whatever the yesterday's topic we discussed, we are going to discuss about the same topic. But just I want to show you one more flavor in the Dataproc. What is the one more flavor we are having in the Dataproc? We are having the SparkSQL. In the real time, some projects are using the PySpark, some projects are going to use the SparkSQL. For that reason, you need to have knowledge on the SparkSQL also. For that reason, just I'm doing same activities in the SparkSQL. But here, just for the use case purpose, instead of directly working on the JSON, what we are doing here, we are converting the data into the Parquet indirectly by using this whole thing. What we are doing, Andy? I am trying to explain how we need to perform the activities in the SparkSQL.
Yes.
How you are going to deal the data with the Parquet. Now tell me, can we able to perform the same operations in the PySpark or not? You can able to perform, but instead of repeating the same topic again on the PySpark, I am using the one more approach called as a Spark-SQL.
Okay.
Is it clear?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions up here?
Why you are using Parquet?
Just 1 second, Andy. Yep. By using temporary view, what I'm doing here I'm reading the data from the JSON, because if you want to convert that to the Parquet, first what we have to do, we need to read the data from the JSON. To read the data from the JSON, I'm creating a temporary view. By using the temporary view, I'm going to create the table. But in between, what I'm doing here, from the view to table, when I'm loading the data, I am converting the data into the Parquet format. For that reason, we are creating the temporary view only for the purpose of reading the data from the files. Is it clear? Okay.
So
Yeah,
without using Parquet, you can also create that table, right?
Yeah, you can create it already, but just I'm showing you how we are. So what is our use case
Okay,
here?
just knowing process, right?
Yeah, correct. You can create the table directly from the Parquet also.
Okay.
Okay. And someone is asking the question, what is the Parquet? So for now, just think about this is a kind of a file ID. In the coming classes, in detail, we'll discuss about what is the Parquet file, what is the WARC file, what is the Avro file. That is the separate topic. For now, just assume that it's a kind of a file. JSON is a file. Parquet is a file. CSV is a file. With that understanding, please try to perform these activities. In the coming classes, I will explain about what is the purpose of Parquet, what is the purpose of WARC, what is the purpose of the Avro, in what situation we need to go for what kind of file. If you are going to discuss about the topic, and we are going to deviate the topic only. For that reason, just to perform these activities by thinking that this is a kind of a file. With that, we can able to complete the use case. In the coming classes, we'll discuss about what is the Parquet, what is the WARC, what is the Avro files. Okay. Any other questions?
We have given the location for GCS bucket, right?
Yes.
For our database.
Yes.
Is that internally connected, or we can see that physically?
Physically also you can able to see. After creation of this, I will show you only. Okay, so once you are going to create this database, what is going to happen in the bucket? You are going to see the folder called as a raw.db. I will show you that. Okay. Any other questions before moving further? Is it clear? Because yeah, please continue.
Yeah, we can create table without LQ, right? If there is no requirement about the Parquet files.
Then directly you can able to create the table by giving the using JSON with the option path. Directly you can able to do that operation.
Okay.
Same command you can able to use instead of using the create or replace temporary view. What you are doing here, just you are going to give it as a create table name using JSON options. With that, directly you can able to create the tables on top of your JSON file if you are having such kind of requirement. Okay. Yep. Any other questions? Please try to understand all these steps, because we are going to repeat the same steps for the other 4 JSON files also. For that reason, we are spending this much of time on the single JSON. If you understand this for the single JSON, we are going to perform the same activity for all other JSON files also. Any questions? Just I'm repeating. First step, we are creating a database if it is not available. After that, we are connecting to the database. After that, I am creating a view to read the data from the JSON file in the JSON format. After that, I am creating a table to convert the JSON data into the Parquet format. This is the way we are going to arrive with the target table, final table, which is going to contain the data in the Parquet format. Now, just I'm going to run all these commands. Now, you tell me in which prompt we have to run all these commands. PySpark prompt or Unis prompt or any other prompt?
SparkSQL.
We are going to run all these commands in the SparkSQL prompt only. Don't do the mistake. Don't give the PySpark, and in the PySpark don't run all these things only, because we are running all these commands in the SparkSQL prompt. For that reason, just I'm going to my SparkSQL. Just observe. I am creating a database. Now in the database, what is the path I given? I given the path as a Dataproc 19 raw.db and now just we'll go there. Dataproc 19. So once I created the database, if you observe here, what is the path we given? We given the bucket name / we given it as a raw.db. That's the reason. If you go to our GCS location, it is creating what automatically? Is creating a folder called as a raw.db. Okay. After that, what's the next step here? I'm giving use raw_db. After that, I am creating a temporary view by using this one. Okay. Now tell me, can we able to see this temp view data in the bucket? Any guesses? Can we able to see this temp view data in the bucket? No, only because it is available for only this session. It is not going to be available in the bucket. That's the reason only we are calling it as a temporary view only. After that, by using this view, I'm going to create the table. Okay. Now you tell me, this table can be able to see in the bucket. This is the physical data, which is nothing but just will go there. I'm clicking on the raw database. If you click on the raw DB, see here, it's creating a folder called as a customer_LO, because in the GCS, everything is dealing with the folders or files only. Here we are not having any kind of tables only. Whatever the table name you given, it is creating a folder with that name. It is given the name as a customer_LO. Now try to give the answer. In this customer_LO folder, what is the file it is creating? Parquet file or JSON file? We'll see that.
Parquet file.
You see here, what is the abbreviation we are having? What is the extension? It's a kind of a Parquet file, and which is nothing but you read the data from the JSON and you loaded the data into the Parquet format. This is the way you can able to convert your JSON file data into the Parquet format. In parallel, what we did here, we created one table called as a customer_LO table, and in the same way, we need to create all other tables also as per our requirement. Just what I will do here is, I will give all these commands in the group. Please try to run these commands. Please run these commands, Andy. If you are having the different bucket name, please change the bucket name, and otherwise what will happen? You are going to get the error. If you are having the different bucket name, or if your files are present in the different folder, please change all that information. With that, please try to run these commands.
Sir, we already inserted the JSON format files in GCS.
We copied the files into the source folder. We haven't ingested. In the source folder, we copied the JSON files. Okay, now please continue your question. What's the next question? In the bucket, in the source folder, we copied the JSON files for the previous example by using the PySpark only. Okay, now please continue.
Okay, we already have JSON files.
Yes, correct.
Yes, okay.
So someone is asking the question, sir, in the bucket, do we have already files? Already we are having the files, and because sometime back we discussed about the PySpark example by using our bucket only, GCS bucket only. That's the reason in the GCS bucket under the source folder, already you are having the JSON file. Might be if you join late, you cannot even understand this. But before starting the session, we discussed about, we copied the files into the GCS. In the GCS bucket, we are having all the files. On top of that, we are doing all these operations.
Sir, can you please explain create database command once again?
Create database. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are going to create the database only. Now, when it is going to create the database, if the database is not exist, then only we are going to create the database. For that reason, I'm giving it as a if not exist. Okay, after that, actually in the MySQL, what is happening? We are having the storage. For that reason, if this database is going to store in the MySQL server, but here what is happening? We are not having any separate storage, and for that reason, I want to create this database. I want to link this database to my GCS bucket. How we can able to link that? By giving the command called as a location command. Here we are given the path, which is nothing but this database is linking with our GCS path. For that reason, we are given the location and we are given the GCS path here.
I mean, whatever database created in SparkSQL, that is going to store in GCS
bucket. Okay? Exactly, correct.
Or the database we created RADB that is polling this path.
Yes, correct, exactly. Is it clear or any confusion still?
I mean, it is polling this path, right? Or
no, it is polling this path.
Or storing in this path.
See, what is the meaning of polling and what is the meaning of storing? So if data is stored in this path, then only it is going to poll, right? Otherwise, how we can able to get the data? Indirectly, whatever the data we are going to load or whatever the data we are going to deal and all the data is going to store on top of your GCS bucket in this path. With that only, as part of polling, what will happen? It is going to read the data from this path. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Now, if you have any confusion, please continue. We can discuss about that. Your statement is correct. So this database is polling from this path. But in this path, when it can able to poll, if it is having the data, then only it can able to poll, right? That's the reason if you are going to create the table, what is happening? It is creating a folder in this path. At the same time, it is creating the Parquet also in this path only. Indirectly, in this path, it is storing all the content. But in the front end, in the SparkSQL, you are going to see all the data in the tabular format. In the back end, all the data is present in the file format. But where we are having all those files, in the GCS bucket, we are having all those files. Any other questions? Please continue now only, because people are doing the practicals. If you have any other questions, please ask me now. Now tell me, can we able to run all these commands at a time from the SparkSQL? If you want, you can run one by one command, no issues, Andy. Otherwise, if you want, what we can do here, we are given the semicolon for each and every query. For that reason, you can able to copy all these commands and just run at a time in the SparkSQL. What will happen? It will run the first query separately, second query separately, third query separately, fourth query separately, because all these are the different queries and separating by semicolon. For that reason, if you want to complete the process fastly, you can run all these commands at a time from the SparkSQL prompt.
Sir, here also one problem is there, right? Running it separately, because we are creating the temporary view, the session will complete it. It won't available, right?
Yes.
So
but within the session only, we are going to create the table also, right? See, within the session only, after creation of the view, immediately I'm going to create the table. Now, after completion of the session, if you are going to open the session again, if you are going to give the query on top of this, can we able to get the data or not?
Yeah,
we can able to get the data because already table created, that data stored in the GCS bucket. For that reason, if you are going to run this one, automatically you can able to see the data.
Okay, here the session means the user ID which has opened, that is the session until exit, right?
Yes, correct.
So it is not like pointing the creating the table.
No, not like that. Only the session, whatever we opened.
Okay.
So how can I get the data from the table, sir?
Yeah, give the select star from the table. See, it's a normal SQL prompt. And if you observe what we are doing, I'm giving the create command, I'm giving the use command, create database. If you want to see the data, what we can do, just give it as a select star from raw_db.customer_elbow. That's it. If you want to see the data, just we can able to fire the query like this, select star from database name, sorry, table name.
So while dropping the table, why you used cascade?
I will tell you later about that. Because if that database is having the tables, you cannot able to perform the drop operation. For example, your requirement is I want to drop the database, even if it is having the tables, then what we have to do, we have to give it as a cascade. For example, if your database is not having any tables, directly we can give it as a drop database name. But if your database is having any tables on it, then it will give the error. To overcome that error, what we are doing here, we are giving it as a drop database name. After that, we are giving the cascade.
In SparkSQL. This will do in SparkSQL, right?
Yeah, this will do in the SparkSQL. In MySQL, it's not required, but in the SparkSQL, we have to do like that. Okay. Now see here, if you completed this activity, now I want to perform the same activity for customer_ny.json file. What we have to do? Just observe what I'm copying the same thing one more time. Now, in which places we have to perform the modification? If I'm going to run the first query, will it create any problem?
Yeah.
Nothing, right? Because already we are having database.
Okay, not exist.
If it is not exist, then only I want to create the database. For that reason, this query will not give any kind of issue. This query also will not give any kind of issue. Now, what about this? This one, what we need to change? Just give it as a customer_ny. And here also I'm giving it as a customer_ny_v. And what about here, Andy? Here just I'm giving the table name as a ny, and I'm reading the data from the view. Now tell me, is there any complexity here? No. If you understand the one table or one JSON file, same operation we can able to repeat for all other JSON files also, Andy. Just you have to perform the minor modifications here like this. With that, you can able to perform the other operations. Now just I'm going to run all these queries. My second table also has been created with the name called as a customer underscore NY. So I will do one thing, Andy. I will share all the queries to you. So please try to run all this. If you want, you can type, no issues. But from my side, anyhow, I need to share this information, right? That's the reason I'm sharing. So I shared queries for all the 5 JSON files, Andy. Please try to run all those. Again, I'm telling, if you are not using the Notepad++, please try to use the Notepad++. It will give so many advantages to you. And for example, I given the 5 queries to you. If you want to understand which part is for which query, just what we can do here is, you can give the kind of a color coding. Now see here, up to here, this is one part, and this is the second part. This is the third part, and this is the fourth part. Like that, you can able to give the kind of color codings and everything. And that's the reason. Please try to habituate using the Notepad++, because in the real time also it is going to give a lot of advantages when you are going to deal with the data in the files. Whatever the queries I pinged in the Telegram group, please copy that into the Notepad. Just to double click on the stars and right click on style all occurrences and give one color. With that, you can able to understand which part is for which query, which JSON file. Now we are going to create total how many tables?
5.
Total 5 tables you should see in your database system in your SparkSQL. In parallel, I will also run from my end. If you are stuck at anywhere, please let me know, Andy. I am given 2 to 3 minutes of time. Please complete these activities. And don't think that you are doing the kind of a copy paste operation. For one JSON file, I given the end-to-end explanation. Try to understand for one JSON file what activities we are doing, and for the second JSON file, if you want, you can do it your own. Coming to third, fourth, fifth, then you can able to perform the copy paste operation. Because of sharing all the queries like this, might be some people are thinking that SAR is given the queries and we are running simply, Andy. What I'm telling here, don't run the queries blindly. Try to understand everything. With that, please run the queries. Why I'm sharing all the queries like this? Just to avoid kind of the errors and all that information. I am sharing the queries, Andy. Please don't take again this in the negative way. I am given the queries for your understanding purpose. Once I share the query, please try to understand what activities we are doing in each and every query. With that, try to run all those queries from the SparkSQL prompt. Just one more question. Are we discussing database concepts or we are discussing the Spark and Dataproc here? We are discussing Dataproc in the combination of PySpark and SparkSQL. And if you remember, in the previous classes, I already told you, whatever the database concepts we are discussing, same thing is going to repeat at the multiple places. And in the Dataproc, we are discussing SparkSQL. In the PySpark, we are discussing SparkSQL. In the coming days, we are going to discuss about the big table. There also, we are going to discuss the SQL only. That's the reason SQL is going to play very important role as part of your complete data engineering course. And also, if you are going to work as a data engineer, there also our complete work is going to depend on the SQL queries only. For that reason, try to get end-to-end knowledge on top of our SQL queries. After creation of all the tables, and please give the comment called as a show tables. With that show tables, you can able to see all the information, whatever you done. We are going to get the 10 rows out of 10, 5 for the tables and 5 for the views. Just to ensure whether you created all the tables or not, after running all these commands, please give it as a show tables. Once you are given the show tables, it will display total 10 entries. Out of 10, 5 is for the tables and 5 is for the views. With that, you can get the confirmation. You created all the tables as part of our requirement. Offline people, anyone facing the issues? Okay. Online people, anyone facing the issues? Just give me a suggestion, Andy. So you want to do practice in parallel with me, or you want me to continue the class and you will do the practice after completion of the class? What is feasible? Online people? I am fine for both the approaches, Andy. No issues for me, but just I'm checking with you.
Parallel with GCP.
Parallel, okay. Offline people? Okay, please continue. Why I'm asking that is, so in between, we need to wait some time like this, and if you are fine for waiting of this time, it's okay. Because some people will complete very fastly, some people will complete a bit slow. In the situation, we need to wait for 3-4 minutes without discussing anything. If you are fine for that, no issues from my end. And my suggestion is, please do the practice in parallel with me. At the same time, after completion of the class also, please do the practice one more time. Okay. Now tell me, so far what we have done? We created all the tables. And what is the purpose of these tables here? Try to give the answer now. Why we are creating the tables here? We are converting JSON file to the Parquet format with the help of the tables, Andy. Now what I told you earlier, if you want to see the tables information, just give it as a show tables, Andy. With that, you can able to see all the list. Here we are getting the 10, Andy, but out of 10, 5 for the tables and 5 for the views. At the same time, I want to cross verify whether tables created properly or not. What is the other approach? What is the other approach? Just you can go to your GCS bucket. In the GCS bucket, go to the raw DB, Andy. Now in the raw DB, how many folders we have to see? You have to see total 5 folders, because you created the 5 tables, and for that reason you are going to see the 5 folders on top of your raw DB database. Okay, now you try to give the answer. What is the next step? Our use case is completed. No, right? No. We need to create one final table called as a result summary table. Now in this result summary table, we need to load the data directly, or we need to apply the transformations. We have to apply the transformation. What is the transformation? As for yesterday's example, we need to apply the union, we need to apply joins, we need to apply aggregate operations, and we need to apply, for example, collapse. We need to apply group by. All these operations we need to perform. With that, we can able to load the data. For that, what we can do here? Okay, so please focus here for a few minutes again, Andy. Whomever doing the practice, please stop for a few minutes. Just observe here for 2 minutes, because here I am loading the data into my summary table. For the summary table, I am giving the different database name just for the differentiation. Raw DB is going to contain the raw data. Processor DB is going to contain the processor data. Now, instead of raw and process, what is the one more name you can able to use if you want? What is the one more naming convention? CZ or SZ. Okay, as part of BigQuery we discussed, Randy, we can able to use the different naming conventions by depending on our convenience. You can call it as a confirm zone or semantic zone, or we can able to call it as a raw and processed. Otherwise, we discussed about multiple naming conventions. By depending on your convenience, you can get, you can give it as a silver, gold, bronze, like that. Also, you can give the naming convention. Andy, already in the previous use case, we discussed about the CZ and SZ. For that reason, just in this use case, I'm using it as a raw and processor. Andy, now in this processor database, what is the kind of data we are maintaining? We are going to maintain our summarized data. For that reason, I am creating a one more database. Now you tell me, this database is going to point with what? GCS bucket, but here we are going to create the one more folder called as a processor DB, Andy. So what I will do here is, first I'm giving prop database. For you it's not required, but for me it's required. Now, just we are going to create a database. After that, same thing. If you observe, we are using the database. After that, we need to create the result summary table. But tell me, in this result summary table, you are going to get the data from the JSON files or you are going to get the data from the Parquet files? We are going to get the data from the Parquet files. At the same time, in this table, in which format you want to save the data? I want to save the data in the Parquet file only. In this table, I want to save the data in the Parquet file only. For the reason, if you observe here, Andy, I am given the structure of the table, create table, table name. After that, in this table, I want to maintain the only 3 columns, Andy, name column, city column, and purchase amount column. Only for these 3 columns, I want to load the data. And in this table, I want to maintain the data in the Parquet format. For that reason, we are giving it as a using Parquet. Now tell me, if I am going to create the table like this, it is going to create the only table structure or it is going to create the table with the data also? Are we giving anything for the data here? We are not giving any select statement or we are not giving any path, which is nothing but it is just creating a table structure. But if you want to load the data into this table, what we can do here? We are going to give the command called as a insert command. After the insert command, what we are giving? We are giving the select statement. Now you try to give the answer. Where we saw the similar kind of SQL query, where we saw similar kind of SQL query in the previous classes.
VZ.
The BigQuery.
Remember,
Views.
in the
VZ.
BigQuery, while
VZ.
loading the data from the CZ to SZ, we
Yes,
saw the
sir.
similar kind of query and insert into target table, select, apply the transformations on the source table. With that, you can able to load the data into your summary table. Here also we are doing the similar kind of operation by using our SparkSQL. This is the way you are going to create our target table as per our requirement. And just I'm repeating one more time. I am creating a separate database called as a processor database. In that processor database, I'm going to create the result summary table. In the result summary table, I want to load the data. To load the data, we are going to prepare the complete query and tell me in the yesterday's query or in the morning query or in the current query, is there any difference? Query wise, there is no difference. And that's the reason yesterday also I told you, if you understand the yesterday's session, understanding today's session is very, very easy because we are working on the same use case. We are working on the same query, but we are working on the PySpark in one approach. We are working on the SparkSQL in the one more approach. And now this is the way finally you can able to create the target table on top of your processed database. Just I will run one by one. First observe here, then you can able to perform the activities from your side. Now just to go to the bucket. Earlier we are having the only raw database. Now we can able to see processor database. Now in the processor database, do we have any table so far? No. For that reason, it's showing it as a empty. And now what I will do here is
For all these like data sets only, right? This database. Right.
yeah, correct. No, but in the BigQuery you are calling it as a data set, but in the SparkSQL we are calling it as a database. Both are same only, but the naming convention is different.
Yeah. Okay.
Sir, we are loading files, right? JSON files or Parquet files.
Yes, correct.
There also we have the same data, right?
Yes, correct.
Then automatically when we read the JSON files, this data already there in our PySparkSQL.
No, yeah, the JSON file already we are having the data and but why we are discussing. So if you want what I told you earlier, you can perform the same operations on top of your JSON files also directly. Now you tell me, other people also try to give the answer. Why we are converting JSON files to Parquet? Why we are converting?
Based on the requirement.
Based on the requirement, just to understand, because in the real time, some scenarios we need to convert the JSON files to the Parquet files. And for that reason, to get some kind of exposure, to get some kind of practical knowledge, to get some kind of theoretical knowledge, we take in the use case like that. Okay. For example, I want to perform the same operations on top of JSON file. Can we be able to do this or not? Obviously, we can do it because yesterday and morning session, first what we did the same activities on top of the JSON only. But now why we are converting it as a Parquet? Just for understanding how we need to convert one format of data into other format. I am taking example like this. With this example, I am trying to explain you how we can able to perform the same operations on top of the Parquet. By end of this example, what will happen? you will get exposure on how to work on the JSON file, you will get exposure on how to work on the Parquet, and you will get exposure on how we need to convert the JSON file to Parquet file. For that reason, we are discussing all these topics as part of our session. Is it clear?
Sir, in create table, is it necessary using Parquet, or it will
No, we
take
have to give it as a
automatically
Parquet
something
only.
which
So
is
if you're not giving anything, what will happen? It won't take anything only. Yeah, by default, it will take it as a Parquet, but as a good practice, better to give it as a using Parquet.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Now see here just again go to the Dataproc 19. Within that, go to the process database. Now earlier it is showing it as an empty folder. Now, if you click on the refresh, you can able to see the result summary folder. Now, in this result summary folder, we are going to get the file. Any cases, what is the file we are going to get? What type of file we are going to get in this folder?
File.
This is obviously
Parquet
our Parquet file. See, we are going to get the Parquet file. Okay. Now, for example, on top of this result summary table, I want to see the data. How to see the data? Just give it as select start from your database name dot table name.
Select spellings.
The spelling is double C.
Okay, so with this, automatically you can able to see the data on top of your summary table, and this is the way simply we can able to understand how we can able to perform the end-to-end activity by using what? By using PySpark. Is the correct answer?
PySQL.
No, whatever the activities we did now. This is for SparkSQL. Okay. So don't get the confusion.
Likewise, other file formats also.
Any file format only. So for example, you are having the CSV. You can able to convert that to Parquet, and you can able to perform the same activity. Or for example, you want to perform the activities directly on the CSV file. You can do that. If you are having data in the JSON file, same operations. If you are having data in the Parquet file, same operation. If you are having data in the Avro file, same operation. If you are having data, for example, in the ORC format, same operations. And everywhere we can able to perform the similar kind of operation. If you understand one format, same thing we can able to repeat for the other format of files also by depending on the requirements. Okay.
Sir, right now, just curious. So right now, just we have taken the flat files or any formatted files loading into the regarding.
Yep. Yeah, please continue, Andy. Hello. I think you are disconnected. Yeah, just I will share these queries in the Telegram group. Please complete this activity also, Andy. I shared target query related queries also. So please try to run this in your system.
Sir, one doubt. So
Yeah,
whatever the views we created, can't we
Hmm.
see those views by using select statement?
Yeah, you can able to see in the current session. If you are going to disconnect and if you are going to connect again, then you cannot able to see. In the current session, in the embed, you already connected to the SparkSQL, right? There
Yeah.
you can able to see the views by giving the select star from the view only. For example, after some time you given the exit command, again you connected to the SparkSQL, then can we able to see the data from the views? No, because those views are temporary views which is available for only single session.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
Sir, here in this SparkSQL partition concept is there?
Yeah, is there. You can apply the partitions also if you want.
Yeah. Okay. By creating separate folders in the GCS buckets.
Yes, correct. So while creation of this
Okay.
table only, we can able to apply the partition also on top of the required column.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, if anyone facing the issues, please let me know on it. I will give 1 more minute. So my favorite question, is it looking simple or complex? All the operations. Complex. Okay. But you don't have any other option, you have to let it. So what is complex? You know creation of database, you know creation of the table, you know how to read the data from the table. What is the complexity? Just I'm asking casually. Okay.
So do we
Just-
have a Dataproc UI base? I mean, client.
No, we don't have it. So Dataproc for what reason? To create the clusters only. After creation of the cluster, what we are going to have? We are going to have the virtual machines. Now you need to connect to the virtual machine. From the virtual machine, we can able to perform all these activities and I can able to say UI like this. Okay. If you want, what we can do, we can able to connect to the virtual machine by using the putty shell. But we have one more option. If you want to connect to the virtual machine, what was that? If you remember? In the console only we can able to open the virtual machine only. That is the way you can able to call it as a kind of UI, but it is looking like a putty shell only. Okay, we don't have any separate UI for this only. You are going to work on the shell only, but here we are doing everything on the putty shell. If you don't want to use the putty shell, what you can do, if you want, you can able to open the shell from the console. By using that also you can able to perform this kind of activities. Okay, now just observe here, Andy. As part of this entire use case, what we have done from my end, I dropped the databases. After that, I created the table 1, table 2, table 3, table 4, table 5. For 5 JSON files, I created the total 5 different tables. And after that, I created a target table. All these operations we performed by using our queries. Okay. Now, my requirement is, instead of doing this manually every day, I want to automate the process. What is the requirement here? Instead of doing all these operations manually every day, I want to automate the process only. For the purpose of doing this automation only, here what we can do is, first we are going to create the jobs. Okay, what I will do here, I will create the jobs. In the jobs, I am going to provide all the scripts and it's a kind of a one-time activity. Once we are going to create the jobs, what we can do here, every time we can able to run the jobs by depending on our requirement automatically. Now, so far we are doing all these operations manually. Instead of doing all these operations manually, I want to automate the process. If you want to automate the process, what we can do here, simply we can able to create the jobs. Okay. Now, as per our example, how many jobs I need to create? To drop the databases, I will create one job. After that, to create the 5 tables, I will create the 5 jobs. And after that, to load the data into the target table, I will create the one more job. Now you tell me, in between these jobs, as per your understanding, is there any dependency? In our example, in between these jobs, is there any dependency?
Except target table remaining.
First one, I want to drop the database. After dropping the database only, I want to create the database, for example. Then what need to happen? For example, I will give the numbers here. Job 1, job 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So what I can able to say here is job 2, job 3, job 4, job 5, job 6. Okay. All these are having dependency on job 1. Why I'm telling like that? Because here I'm going to create the database. If you want to create the database, my requirement is first I want to drop the database one time at least, and with that I want to perform this activity. For that reason, just I'm giving the example. All these jobs are depending on the job 1, which is nothing but after completion of job 1 only, I want to trigger the job 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And after that, when you want to trigger the job 7, you want to trigger the job 7 also in parallel with all these jobs, you want to run it, or after completion of these jobs, you want to trigger the job 7, because job 7 is depending on the previous 5 tables. And for that reason, I want to trigger the job 7. We are having dependency with these jobs. Now tell me, to trigger the job 1, is there any dependency? Is there any dependency? We can able to say obviously no. Indirectly, for few jobs we have to give the dependency. For few jobs, no need to give any kind of dependencies. And now, how we can able to define all these kind of dependencies? To define all these kind of dependencies, we are introducing one more topic called as a workflows. And in the Dataproc, we are calling it as a workflows. In the Airflow, we are giving the different naming convention. Forgot about the Airflow for some time. Here, what we are doing, we need to create the workflows. And indirectly, within the Dataproc, we are having the concept called as a jobs, and we are having the concept called as a workflows. But tell me, with the help of the jobs and workflows, are we going to perform any different activity, or we are going to perform the same activity whatever we discussed? We are going to perform the same activity and but only thing is nothing but instead of running everything manually, what we are doing here, simply we are going to automate the process. Once we are going to automate the process, what will happen? Every day, no need to run all these commands manually. And simply what happened here, once I'm going to create the workflow, just I will trigger the workflow. Once I'm going to trigger the workflow, what will happen? It will run the job 1, job 2, job 7. All these jobs will trigger by depending on the dependency. For that reason, in the Dataproc, we are having the feature called as a orchestration feature. To use that orchestration, we are going to use the jobs and workflows. And in the 11:45 session, we'll discuss about these jobs and workflows. With that, you will get end-to-end knowledge on Dataproc. Now tell me, if you want to understand the 11:45 session, what is the prerequisite?
Previous,
Not previous, this class only. Complete the practice for this class, because I'm only telling that we are going to repeat the same activities, but by using the jobs and workflows only, which is nothing but jobs and workflows are the kind of a new concept. But within the jobs and workflows, what we are doing, we are going to repeat the same activities only. For that reason, next 1.5 hours, you are going to have the time. In this 1.5 hours, please try to complete the practice, whatever we discussed in the current session. With that, easily you can able to understand the 11:45 session. Okay. Don't give me the answer. Sir, I'm going to the communication skill classes. I know how many of you are going to the communication skill classes. I know how many people are listening the classes very properly and how many people are skipping those classes. Andy. So trust me here, after 2 months or 3 months, you will feel very bad Andy, because of missing these communication skill classes. I already told you, if you want to get the job, communication skills are going to play the very important role. Now, for example, you are having very good technical skills and you perform the practice also very well, but you are not having the communication skills. What is going to happen? As part of interviews, you have to explain the things, right? You are going to explain the Telugu or Hindi or in English. Obviously, you have to explain everything in the English, okay? If you want to explain everything in the English, obviously what need to happen? You need to have the communication skills only. That's the reason only we are conducting separately communication skill classes also as part of our JOAP. I came to know that from this batch, I think at least new batch, we are having 35 people. Old batch, we are having around 50 people only. But out of all these people, only 6 to 7 people are going for the communication skill classes. What it means indirectly? It is proving that everyone is having the communication skills. If everyone is having the communication skills, obviously you need to get the jobs within 15 days or 1 month only. After 1 month, please come back and ask him that, sir, I'm not getting the jobs because of the communication skills only. Again, what need to happen? You need to join the communication skill classes. Again, you have to spend the 1 month of time. Unnecessarily, you are going to waste the time. And for that reason, if anyone feeling you are not having the communication skills, please try to utilize these classes. What is the meaning of utilizing? Don't go sit there and don't do the comments on madam or these kind of things, Andy, because I got to know that some people are doing misbehavior in the classes, Andy. So see here, you are the freshers or 3+ gap people. You are the 3+ or 4+ gap people. Please behave with some maturity. You are not a fresher or you are not a kind of a college student, Andy. Already you got the 3 years of gap. Now still if you are behaving like this in the classes, if you're giving commenting on the teachers or if you're commenting on the ladies, if you're behaving still like that, it's nothing but you're kind of a unmature person. As an unmaturity, you cannot able to get the jobs, Andy. Already you're having the 3 years of gap. If you are going to continue the similar kind of behavior, what will happen? You will get 5 years of gap. Still, if you're not going to change, you will get 10 years gap also. First, change your attitude, Andy. Once you are going to change the attitude, everything will come automatically. If you are not going to change the attitude, what will happen? You yourself is going to lose. Okay, my sincere session. Please be in the discipline mode, attend the classes, and please don't pass any comments on the teachers or madams or students also, Andy. Please attend the classes properly and learn everything properly and do the practice also properly. With that, automatically you can able to get the jobs. Okay. That's all for now. We'll continue in the next session, 11:45.
Sir, I have a question and a query.
Yeah, if anyone having the questions, please stay here. Otherwise, if you want, you can leave. Online people.
Sir, please share the notes.
Share the notes, sir. Just 1 second. Yeah, I will share that. Yeah, meanwhile, other people you can able to ask the question. Someone is asking the question, please continue.
Yeah. Sir, after loading the data into the table, result summary table, so when we are retrieving the data, we are not getting the column names.
Yeah, you will not get the column names, because if you want to get the column names, what you have to do here is just do this operation. See, when we are launching the SparkSQL, right? First time. As part of launching the SparkSQL, please give this command. Just I'm pinging this in the group. We need to enable this property. With this property, you can able to see the column names. I pinged in the group only. First to launch the SparkSQL by using this property. With that, for any query, you can able to see the column names.
Okay. What exactly is this? Print.
That is
Okay.
the one of
Here
the
we are
property
giving
to
the
enable the
print.
column names.
Yep. Okay. We are printing the headers, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So I'm uploading the notes also. By using this, you can able to continue your class practice.
So one doubt. So by using Dataproc, we can perform any transformations, sir.
Yes. No, not by using Dataproc we are doing it. By using the PySpark or SparkSQL we are doing. Dataproc
Yeah,
is for
I mean,
only for cluster creation.
right. I mean, indirectly. I mean,
Yes, correct.
using
Indirectly,
the
yeah.
cluster.
Yeah, indirectly we are going to apply any kind of transformations by depending on our requirement.
I mean, in real time, we are not using any other service by GCS.
No, we are
for
going to
the
use it. See, actually, the BigQuery also can be able to perform the same operations or not. Whatever the query we discussed in the session, can be able to perform the same operations in the BigQuery or not.
yeah, we can perform, but
In
whatever
the same way, we are going to have the data flows and we are having the data prep and all these things. And by using that also, we can able to perform the similar kind of operations. But by depending on our requirement, we are going to choose the GCP services as part of our real-time projects.
Okay.
Okay.
So generally, people say that Dataproc is a ETL tool, right?
Yeah, in the Dataproc indirectly what we are doing the ETL operations only, right? In the Dataproc for creation of cluster, after that we are using the PySpark. Now you tell me, as part of today's session, what we did? We extracted the data from the JSON file, we transformed the data to the Parquet, and we applied our operations. With that, finally we are loading the data. Indirectly, what operations we are doing? We are doing the ETL operations with the PySpark. But where we are running this PySpark only? On top of your Dataproc, we are running all these things.
Sir, one more thing here. Oh, I missed.
Yeah, please continue.
I missed it, sir.
Yeah, no issues, and you can recap and you can ask in the next session. Okay, if no questions, thank you. Thank you all.